We're coming in for a landing, and we have landed on the Micro Effect Broadcasting Network. You can access the show by typing in www.themicroeffect.com. Click on the appropriate links, the chat room links. Come on in, make friends, get acquainted, solve some issues, save the planet, build an ark, build an ark, build an ark. And I'll explain what that means during the show. You can access me on several sites, Brian396.com, BuyByBlueSky.com, SmewLoveTrue.com, AugmentedForce.com, even on the YouTube channel and other places throughout the internet. You can find me somewhere, some way, somehow. And again, feel free to download the information that's there for free. I just put in a ton of links in the chat room, so if you're not in the chat room, you're going to miss out on these links. But if you're in the chat room, feel free to get those links. Start looking at them. Start checking them out. You'll find a new one there with Brian396. It's called www.minds.com/Brian396. He's done a superb job in building a site so that you can actually see the nano assembly on the DNA. So if you're having friends that are having problems and seeing how this could happen, you can send them to that site. He's got all kinds of different information and whatnot. There's another site there too. It's a SlideShare site which shows you how they're using nano with biology, and then there's another link there with MIT. Like I said, everybody's still worrying about Dr. Babalooey and the screwy that goes on. They are so way past Babalooey Screwy and all the distractions and all the dysfunctionalities and the screw jobs that they're doing to everybody else. I just got a friend of mine from New Zealand, a colleague and friend, sent me a link with the guy that's promoting carbon C60. Apparently he's got cancer. I wonder what gave it to him. 210,000 toxicology studies, and he disregarded all of them over one little cartoon that they displayed. Now, hopefully, and you can go watch it on the YouTube. You can just type in Cliff Hill talks about his cancer or whatever. Hopefully, people can put two and two together. Now, I think there might be a staging going on. I'm not sure. In all fairness, I don't know for sure one way or another, but something like this coming from NASA, it would not be a surprise. This was a stage thing, and all of a sudden he comes out superbly healed and blah, blah, blah. I told a guy from New Zealand, sounds like they spiked the Kool-Aid with arsenic and cyanide, and now he's telling everybody to keep drinking the Kool-Aid with the spiked cyanide and arsenic because you don't want to die like this. You'll just die in another way. This is what is going on throughout. Now, I'm not laughing at the man, so please don't misinterpret me as laughing at his misery. I do not laugh at anybody's misery. I'm a healer myself, and I don't believe in laughing at anybody's misery. I do laugh at stupidity, though, and I do laugh when people cannot put two and two together and see that this man is taking something supposedly going to extend the life up to 120 and 140 years, and now he's dying of cancer. It does not compute. Does not correlate, does not equate. So like I said, we've got a lot of things going on. I had another buddy of mine tell me from California today. I was talking to him, and he was telling me how there's basically yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it, Starfire. Cliff Hill, another with cancer, telling everyone to take C60. This is basically the same kind of cult mentality that they were down in Waco, Texas years ago. Remember that? And the guy had everybody drink the cyanide because they were going to the next level and the next level of evolution. This is a mind control game. And they are, and I've said this before, they're after your DNA, they're after your mind, they're after your mitochondria. You have to start paying attention, because if you don't pay attention and you follow this with gullibility, without seeing the obvious, you will wind up where this guy is going. You know, if you don't repent, not to a very happy place, I got to tell you. So, when we're looking at some of the stuff that we are dealing with today, and some of the horse hockey that's being propagated, this is why I tell everybody to start investigating. Now, Brian 396 and myself have been telling you about nano poisoning and nanotoxicology, nanobots, nanobiology, nanogenetics for about 7 to 8 years. We have been talking about this. We've been out there telling everybody the dangers of carbon C60, and when you look at the bloody thing, there's nothing in it that it remotely indicates it has any health benefit whatsoever. And then when the guy who's propagating this, and again, based on the monkey video, well, he shouldn't be dying, should he? He should be 140 years old and not have a problem, according to their studies, and how it's going to make you more psychic and all this. That's what I'm saying. It's propagation of nonsense. Vitamin C has validity to it. It has 80 to 90 years of valid science validating that it can extend your life, validating it can heal your body, validating it can reverse telomeres, and it works. And people that do take mega doses of vitamin C, doesn't mean they don't get sick or break down, but they do wind up having a longevity effect from using vitamin C. Now, all things being equal, and living in today's times with nano poisoning, nanoparticles, smart dust, smart bots, smart sensors, frequencies, of all kinds, UAV to terahertz and so forth and so on, the genetics, the glyphosates. We are living in one demonic dimension, I have to say. And we are living in a dimension where things are there to assault anything, anyone, anybody that can have any hope, any real light in them. And I mean by having real light in them, having the God consciousness in them, God in their heart, God in their spirit, God in their essence, is being assaulted and attacked. Seems to be the ones that they have targeted very hard, not just them, but other people as well. So look at this information. There is a lot there to look at. And again, it's to forewarn you and to arm you. And if it frightens you, that's not necessarily a bad thing either. If it's frightening you, then that means that somewhere inside of you, you're recognizing some kind of truth to what is being said. And as a result, because of that, you will get off your backside, quit watching the idiot box, quit watching the programming, quit being programmed, and start again recuperating and regrouping yourself so that you become the person you were really meant to be. Things we're showing you will get you through another day. Hopefully many more days. But anyway, I want to get into some of this stuff. Back in the 60s and 70s, when they're genetically engineering a plant, they would take a pod or a seed and insert a pod or a nanobot inside the seed, which had the capacity to integrate with the genetic code or the DNA of the plant. And once it did that, it sent the program, sequences of programs into the proteins and into the DNA to mass produce, or to alter its structure in such a way that whatever acted as an antagonist to the crop would die. It would release a pesticide, it would produce a poison, it would release a chemical, whatever the program of the design and the mechanism that was put in the seed was designed to do. And that would transfer throughout the whole plant. Tony, on the vitamin C, is there a relatively safe source of vitamin C? They're all coming from the same place. Okay, let me set the record straight here for most of you. The vitamins you're buying in the health food store today are coming, the raw materials are coming from China. And when they come from China, they come pretty pure. They don't get corrupted until they are produced in the pharmaceutical companies or the nutraceutical companies in the respective states, provinces, or jurisdictions where they're being manufactured. So vitamin C is vitamin C is vitamin C. Some sources are coming from corn, some are coming from cassava, some are coming from somewhere else. Now, the whole food nonsense that they're telling you has got vitamin C, the vitamin C in those whole foods are minuscule at best. Amla and camu camu, or East Indian gooseberry and camu camu, are the highest sources of natural occurring vitamin C. Each berry will contain close to 3 grams of vitamin C. 3 grams. Fresh. That's consuming them fresh. Now, when they go through the process of synthesizing and dehydrating and processing the amla or the camu camu, the amount of vitamin C in each 15 grams, 1 tablespoon. The amount of vitamin C is about 900 milligrams. It's not even a 1-to-15 ratio. So all this horse hockey that they're propagating as a natural vitamin C is predominantly a high-profile bioflavonoid with very little C in it. So when you see all these components in the whole food nonsense, oh, it's got this and it's got that, blah, 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 whatever, even freeze-dried will not have the component of C in it that you're looking for. In today's time, you're looking at about 3 to 5 grams daily as a normal dose of ascorbic acid. So when you're looking at vitamin C, okay, it all is being made in China, all of it. It was coming out of Japan for a while, that was CQ10. But majority of it is mass-produced in China and then shipped over to the U.S. So like I said, if you look at the essays that are coming from China, they're the same format as the U.S. essays. They're clean, very clean. But get them in a manufacturing facility like Now and Gero and Country Life and Sogar and AOR and Natural Source, Solar Ray, whatever. It's what they mix with the pure product that becomes a problem. They start adding silica, titanium dioxide, aluminum lake, microcrystalline cellulose, hypercross carmelose, natural and artificial flavor, soy, AVP, TVP, HVP, APP. All these things that they're adding to that's what makes these things then become compromised. You don't need silica in a vitamin. If they're packed correctly and you've got any kind, even if you added baking soda to it, it would neutralize any acidic activity going on in the supplement. And once it hit the gut, the acid would then react, and these things would work. And they may even get more, might even be better absorbed in the lower GI because of the buffering agent that goes with it. But you'll never see that in the health food industry. You'll see it when you make your own at home. So our fresh, real coconuts, beneficial to eat. I'm on an island for 2 months and eating and drinking every day, straight from God. Okay. Anything that is still alive and active and hasn't been compromised with nanotechnology, nanobiology, chemtrails, frequencies, anything that can cause a mutation effect on these plants will benefit you for sure. I had a person I knew in Hawaii that actually helped cure her cancer using fresh coconuts every day. So they have lauric acid, they have monolauric acid, they have there's another acid that starts with an L with it that help kill cancer cells. So when we're looking at cellulose as well. Anything that has microcrystalline cellulose, hypercross carmelose. Cellulose is part of the polymer that they're using. Again, make sure they're not in your supplements. Somebody wrote me an email about digestive enzyme, mentioned a couple companies. I told them the one company is all soy-based, you shouldn't be using it. Another one was called Zymescence or something. and when your radio was all polymer bound, there was no way you're going to break that down. So, like I said, these excipients, you need to spend and pay a good deal of attention on excipients that they're putting in your supplements, because these are the things that are causing the problems. Someone wrote me about natural and synthetic vitamins, and I said, well, there's no difference really. They come from the same. If they're extracted or synthesized, it's still the vitamin. Now, if they're water-soluble vitamins, they will pass through. Your body will use them and excrete them out. Where you're getting any kind of residual effect is from the excipient that might be mixed with the vitamin. That's what's causing the problem, not the vitamins themselves. But again, these boneheads will say whatever they're going to say because they're trying to sell you this crap that they think is so superior. And if you did anybody did any kind of investigation on any of these so-called products that they're calling natural or whole or whatever, you'll find there's no studies that have been done on their supplements that have actually found any real results on anything. And just like, for instance, apple cider vinegar, they show you all the studies about vinegar, and the vinegar studies that they were using was the white vinegar and not the apple cider vinegar. So then when they say that in this study or that study vinegar had cured this or cured that, they're not referring to ACV, they're referring to white vinegar. But they got you distracted in believing and buying into that vinegar and apple cider vinegar seem to correlate, so now you're basically brainwashed. Oh, I'm going to go buy some ACV. I'm going to spend $7 for 32 ounces of vinegar when I can go to a dollar store and spend $1.25 for 4 gallons of vinegar, or $1.25 for 3 liters of vinegar, whatever it may be. That's the vinegar that they saw curing people. That's the vinegar that helped, alleviate diabetes and diabetic foot sores and remove the foot sores. That's the vinegar that can help digestion system. That's the vinegar that can break down parasites and viruses. If you add that with copper, now that's the vinegar that becomes a super vinegar with the copper. You got copper acetate, and this stuff will, like I say, could even wipe out some STDs. So that's how you've got to think. How you have to perceive some of this stuff. Don't just accept things. You may not like what I'm saying, but go look up what I'm saying, and you'll see that what I'm saying has merit to what's going on. These guys, like I said, they don't care. They don't care. The theatrics in this health food industry is just refined to no end. What they display and what they put into your head and the perceptions that they're showing you in the head is showing you that, it just makes you believe or makes you assume or makes you think that this is what really works and what is really going on. In all reality, it's not. So like I said, investigate. Okay, back to talking to my buddy from California. He made mention that there's a certain group in the United States and overseas that now want you to rewrite the Bible, because the Bible has in it some things that might be considered anti-Semitic. I find that amazing, because there are so many Christians today that really believe in this Christian Judaic ideology, and they start speaking Hebrew and instead of saying Jesus, they say Yeshua, and they get into this whole Sabbath thing. And this has been all about mind control and cult manipulation. And the reason why I'm pointing this out, again, this is for both Canada and the United States to wake up on this, is that back before the Second World War, at the turn of the century, when the Zionists got involved in Europe, Europe was predominantly a Christian nation. And after about a decade or two, they became converted to this type of Judaism that stripped them of their wealth, made them impoverished, and fed the Zionist movement of the time. Then I hear another activity going on in the Middle East about taking over America's security from an outside source, which alarmed me to no end, because America has some of the most deadliest hardware on the planet. And if that hardware should be sold, because the group of individuals that want to take over America's security would sell their own mother for a profit, just the way it is. That's just what they are. And for that to really be procured in America, that threatens Canada, that threatens this whole part of the world. And I can see something like that being utilized against America and Americans and Canadians. Doesn't have any appeal to me. I don't know about you. I think America's security should be taken care of by the people within America. Just like the security of Canada should be taken care of by the people of Canada. And if there's any kind of intercooperation between Canada and the United States, I don't have a problem with that either, since we're under one nation as well, covering all angles of the border. I think the borders need to be secured. You don't have to be, and again, they shouldn't have to be like you need papers to be able to go back and forth. I mean, not like in Germany. Where's your papers? I understand you need identification, validation, but I mean, but that's gone out the window. But the immigration policies in Canada, we don't have a policy. What we have, oh, come on in. Yeah, use our social programs. Yeah, drain us economically. Oh, come on, bring more in. You got to bankrupt us further and further. That's what we got going on with our toy boy in Ottawa. So I'm pointing this out because in order to maintain health, you have to maintain some kind of security. And that security should be in the control of the nation that is alive. So this is what's going on in regard to even your very core of your faith. That your Bible may be changed because there might be some terms and things in there that reflect some of the Semitic history that wasn't so colorful, so wasn't so pleasant, but nonetheless it was true. I mean, Jesus dying on the cross, being betrayed by his own people, executed by the Romans. Because if Jesus had broken the laws of Moses, based on the laws of Moses, he should have been stoned or set on fire by his accusers and by the people of the nation. But instead, he was sent over. No law was broken because he didn't break any laws. He was hung, he was flogged, he had his flesh shredded from him. He took the beating of a lifetime, got the ass whooping that nobody could have ever handled, and then had to carry his own means of execution to the place where he died. And then came back. So, when we're seeing that part of that history, it's not a very pleasant thing to see, oh, these people betrayed their own Messiah, their own God. The prophet, God, or person, however way you want to define it, I call him God, the living God, defined it, they executed one of their own by surrendering him to somebody else and had somebody else do the dirty work for them. So again, that may get wiped out of your Bible, the true history of how he died and rose from the dead. So that's another thing that you might want to start thinking in terms of what's going on. If this is the case, like I said, we are at war. I've said this many a time. Okay, and I'm going to get back into the other thing because I figure I should mention this because it is part of being healthy, sustaining the truth, maintaining the truth, and keeping the truth. That's really important on every front. Because when we keep the truth, then we don't get compromised. And when we don't get compromised, we don't get easily distracted or deceived or weaved or manipulated because you stick to the truth. All right. We are looking at a bunch of different things here. Let me go back to the first one. What was the first one? Oh, that was email. Okay, the first link I put up there was, let me see here. Scientists for Wired Technology, and they're talking about 5G, and it gives you a whole list of details on the whole 5G subject. For those of you who are not familiar with 5G, you may want to take a look at this link. It shows you and records all the deaths that have occurred as a result of putting this one tower in this one area. So you may want to read this article in order to see if there's any indication that you might have some of the symptomologies that are occurring and going on as a result of these 5G towers manifesting. You're going to have to learn how to block 5G. They're going to bring it in no matter what. If you can create a parabole type material where the signals hit this arc bowl and deflects it back to the tower, and if you have enough of them around, you might see the tower go poof. Just my thinking. But you may have to shield where you live. You may have to use lead paint to paint your homes. You may have to use some kind of lead shielding on the windows. You may have to use something called Kapton on the glass. You may have to use grounding technologies to ground your home so that if the frequencies hit the house, they don't charge the house like an overblown capacitor. Okay, I gave you another link in regarding to shielding. Let's see if I can find it. Give me a second here, and I gotta see where the heck I put it. Where'd it go? Give me 1 second here. Okay, there's a thing about shielding in regarding to here we go. It's called Apparatuses, Systems and Methods of Electromagnetic Protection. Now, what they did was they created a double barrier. They used a dielectric material, which means it's an insulating material which will allow electrons to flow through it, but acts as an insulator. And when they... You're kidding me. And when they put it together, they used even other deflective materials, metals and whatnot, to again create a disarray or dispersion of the frequency. Now, it won't stop, it'll stop up to a certain point, just so you know. But this will again help you in defending against this kind of thing. Because what I was looking up was how the U.S. military was stopping high-altitude electromagnetic pulsing from taking out their airplanes. If anyone's going to know how to do it, they would. So I found some information regarding to how to create good shielding for your bedrooms at least, or if you got a workstation, you may want to put this in the workstation, or put them throughout the house, so whenever you feel the need to get sheltered or to take a break, you can create this kind of shielding. And it's an interesting thing. They created a external shielding, a buffer, and an internal shielding, and then they grounded it. So this is something for you guys. Again, another means to defend yourselves against some of the problems that may be coming along. I got multiple shielding in my room where I sleep. I've got shielding around the walls. I got toroidal fields hanging all over the place. I got toroidal fans going all over the place. And I got pulsing fields going on at the same time. I'm literally in a bubble. Now, when it comes to super high pitches that you might hear, those super high pitches that you're hearing, within a 12 to 24 hour window, your weather is going to change. When you hear a pitch that's so resoundingly high that it's almost like ear shattering. You might think you have tinnitus. You know, oh, I got tinnitus. I got this ringing in my ears. That's not ringing of the ears. That's a pulsation coming on from frequencies and towers and whatnot. When you hear them at the super high pitch, your weather is about to change. Okay, your weather is about to change. So again, be aware of that. Be aware of what's going on here. I'll put this link back in the chat room so it'll be at the very forefront, so you won't have to go looking for it. Give me a second. There you go. So these are things that you can do. These are ideas that you can get. If you can create a frequency device that can fire a mini EMP or a mini frequency that can match 5G, you can also stop it that way. Frequencies can neutralize other frequencies. But this, for now, might be the easiest way to build a place of shelter so that if you're getting overwhelmed with frequencies, whether you're in an apartment or your own home, if you're on a second floor apartment, I've said this, or third floor, or if you're on the higher up you are, the more susceptible to frequency assault you're going to get hit with. You have less shielding than the people below. Unless you're living in a building where the brick was laid in the 50s, you're going to have no shielding. All right, come on back. I hear the music so we can continue on and get defensive and offensive. See ya. Hey, I think we're back. We're back on the Micro Effect Broadcasting Network. And again, I'm your host, Tony Pantalleresco, and this is The Remedy. Okay, Brian 396 actually found this link here. I will see if I can get it real quick. Yeah, this is a beauty. This link here, I'm putting in the chat room, is the stuff that we've been talking about for 5 to 6 years. This is basically an illustration of all the things that we've been saying. So for those of you who have a hard time reading the scientific journals that I've written and have tried to elaborate with different comments, this may help some of you see the nature of nano, how it can assemble, how they're using implants and chips, how they're using different things to integrate into your DNA. You can actually see it. For some of you, like I said, you have a hard time reading some of the literature. My site, I give you all the scientific aspects. I put comments explaining the different things. This one here is very illustrative. We'll give you a better idea because you can have a visual. So that, again, for those of you who are talking to people who may or may not be understanding the nature of nanotechnology, nanobiology, you can then show them something like this to give them a more visual aspect or perspective of what's going on. And again, forewarned is forearmed. And again, in order to get everybody on board to see this, they now they can. And now you can show it to them. So this may help some of you guys who are dealing with friends and family and whatever. They can take, and again, you're always going to find somebody somewhere, some way, somehow are not, they're not going to want to hear it. And with those people, seriously, pain is the best teacher. All right, I'm going to give you this link here for Brian396, www.minds.com, Brian396. This one, the very first thing you see here on this site is a link to how Nano is integrating with DNA. Amazing picture. You can actually see it. I think if you click on it, it may take you to a spot where you can actually see like a PowerPoint or a some kind of display technology where you can actually see it, how it interfaces and integrates and alters the DNA. Now, silica is one of those foods that's on a nano scale that gets into the DNA and starts to alter it as well and causes a lot of damage. Like I said, 10 years after they put it in the food supply, that's when we got the restless leg, fibromyalgia, the cancers, autoimmune disorders, mental disorders, is because of that one element that they added and over a 10-year accumulation caused problems. Okay, thanks, Tony. Yeah, it's all kind of tough explaining it to people, the ones who will listen, that is. Takes me time to get through those scientific articles and wrap my mind around them. So when we're looking at these images and these things that he's brought out, we were talking about this stuff, like I said, 7-8 years ago, and it sounded like we were talking Greek. So he's actually been able to find illustrative examples of what we talked about. And now he's put them up on site so everybody can take a look at them. So everybody should go check them out, take a look, see what's there. Even read the information I've got on my site. Because once you see the pictorials and then you read the stuff I've got down, you're going to see how it's all going to make a lot of sense. The explanations are all going to be there. You can see how it's actually assembling in the body, how it's taking over, and then you can see the explanation in more detail what it's doing. Like I said, when these guys come out there and they're projecting an image of something that's going to give them longevity and health, and it's going to do this and do that, and then you start reading how graphene can interface and integrate with the brain, how they can now read your brain and hear your brain, because graphene is carbon C60. It's a type of carbon. So when we're looking at what they're selling in this health food industry, it's not healthy. And this is why I cannot emphasize enough about reading the other ingredients. See, they can take a pure product and then they can compromise it with things that aren't pure or beneficial for you. So you go into a health food store and you think, oh, wow, vitamin XYZ 123 1045 AZY will give me superpowers. I'll have, a super erection. I'll have super sex. I'll have super boobs. I'll have super waistline. I'll have a super tight bum. But that's how they sell this stuff, right? It's all about sex and sex appeal. And so you buy into it. And all of a sudden you see some changes and you get all excited. And then you run back and you buy more of it. Then before you know it, you're not feeling so good. They forgot to mention they shut down the thymus. They forgot to mention it shuts down the spleen. They forgot to mention it shuts down the pancreas. They forgot to mention it can strip the lining of your intestinal tract and stomach. They forgot to tell you some details about that supplement. And then the next thing you know, you've got cancer. Next thing you know, you got an autoimmune disorder. Next thing you know, you got some mental dysfunctionality happening. Next thing you know, you might have a respiratory problem. Next thing you know, you might have a reproductive problem. It's how it is, and this is why I emphasize very heavily in regarding to read and investigate before you spend a dime on anything. Even toilet paper can screw you up because of what's in the toilet paper. And when you look at what's in the toilet paper, you think, man, I'm wiping my backside with this? You got to be kidding me. No wonder I've got hemorrhoids. I'm shoving chemicals up my backside. Oh, the irony of it all, eh? Here, use this. It's safe. Is it safe? Okay, there's another beauty here. And when you look at this particular link, you're going to see what I said. This is what they used to use in farming, 30 years ago. How they would implement a programmed micropod inside the seed. Well, this is the same thing they're talking about, but inserting inside of you. Now, what happens if there should be a virus transferring from the operating system that this is communicating with? What happens when it communicates with that technology inside your body and causes your body to self-destruct? There is nothing, no way, no how that you're going to be able to stop it unless you're near an MRI machine or a very high-powered magnet that you can turn on and pulse yourself with it. Chances are it's going to screw you up as well, but it'll stop you from dying. So, this is the hardcore reality here behind some of these things, And so when you're looking at this, and again, to disengage nano programming, you have to pulse it, you have to wipe it clean, and at the same time, when you do hit it with multiple waves and fields, you will find that it will create a huge collision, which on a nanoscale is very huge because it's only a nanosecond apart. That's how far apart these things are. And when they collide, they'll collide in clusters, causing a major shorting out. And you'll see these things coming out cooked, black, brackish. You'll see tons of tiny little balls. Again, happening. They'll be burnt. Sometimes they'll be clustered and almost fused together. You'll see long threads of fullerenes coming out, which will be, again, acting as threads. So again, as connections between other networks, lots of things can come out, but that would be the only way to stop something like this that would be injected into the bloodstream or into the DNA. Because if something should override the program operating system that's inside your body, there's nothing you'll be able to do. You will be at the mercy of the programming. Okay. That's the thing. You are at mercy of the programming. There was a movie out called Upgrade. In the movie, the guy gets his spine severed by a bunch of hoods and thugs. They shoot him to surgically disconnect his spine. The scientist was looking for a scapegoat or an experiment to try this new technology on. Once the technology got embedded into the person's DNA, into his mitochondrial circuitry, he was able to do things that he could not normally do. He was able to talk to the artificial intelligence. He was able to communicate with it. He was able to, again, when he gave it permission to take over his body, and his body was able to do things that he normally couldn't do. So when you're looking at these things that they're entertaining you with, they're giving you all kinds of information there if you pay attention, that if this technology is inside your body and something should override it, even an AI system should override that chip or that technology, you are now at the mercy of the program. You're at the mercy of the override. Okay, this is why the Bible says about the chip or the marking, not to be marked in the right hand or the forehead, because if you do, you basically become assimilated, and now you are at the mercy of the AI's network. Tony, do we assume all vaccines have nanotech in them? I don't know. Assumption is not a good word I would use. If you look it up, you'll find that just about all of them do have it. There might be the odd one that doesn't, but they're all using a nano delivery method at this stage. Like I said, there might be the odd one. So again, this is where the furthering of the investigation will come in, so you can see it. When you're talking DNA, you're talking genetic code, you're talking nano metal. You're going to see all kinds of stuff on this, and even the doctors, or a couple of doctors in Italy, were saying that there were nanoparticles in vaccines that shouldn't have been there. So I'm thinking that they're already using it. They're already ahead of the game. They got to implement a chipping, tagging system in the body. They want to tag you. And this chipping technology is all about tagging you so that they can keep better eye on you. And if they need to throw a kill switch to activate the nano, it's already inside you, the nano programming nanobots to, again, go into critical parts of the body and shut you off. This is not science fiction anymore. This is science reality. And when you read online, is this real? And then get into some detailed explanation, remember, the truth is never on mainstream. Never is going to be in mainstream. Elements of the truth may be spoken, but it's all nothing but one big, huge, humongous deception. Always has been. Always will be. This system has to come down completely and start over fresh without any influences from whatever is influencing the planet. Tony, do you think that now that's an air already, that's in us already, could possibly someone become that chip? Oh yeah, definitely. Fiona, they're building the chips inside of us. I have pulled out of my head alone over 20 implants. I have fried these implants and they've come out. I've dug them out of my skin. I have other people who are using similar technologies that I'm using, have done the same thing. They have pulled out chips, they have pulled out bots, they have pulled out fullerenes, they have pulled out dendrimers, they have pulled out origami. I've got them all over the place contacting me, telling me what they're pulling out. I have even had women send me not to me personally, but through the internet, samples of what has come out of their vaginal area after I told them to use a vinegar, water, iodine douche. Some of the stuff that some of these women have coming out of their insides is astounding, but this is how the hijacking and the programming has started. This is what they've done. With the men, it's the same thing. Men are buying these condoms thinking that they're making love to a woman, but in reality, they're making love to a rubber or a latex material. And in that latex material, there are spermicides that could be on a nano scale, which over a period of time shut the men off completely, turn them off, because it's poisoned the reproductive system. So, yeah, if it's in you, it can be programmed to assemble in whatever form or format they want. They can make it look like a bug, look like a fish. They can contort it into a circuitry. They can turn it into a wiring board. They can turn it into a structure. There's nothing with there's nothing within its purview that it cannot do because of the program access. So I mean, that's why I gave you these sites, because if it can integrate with your DNA, just like they could integrate this technology with genetics and transgenetics into plants and access the protein sequences and the DNA sequences and the genetic codes, the sky is the limit. The sky is the limit. That's the nature of why we need to, again, expel this stuff out, diminish it daily, cleanse daily, and focus on the food supply to the best you can. Until you start getting things going on indoors. I haven't had a chance to look at, again, deactivating these things in the food supply yet. I've been working on other things, arrays and other things, but that's coming around the corner. I mean, I can see up the way that the only way we're going to be able to eat anything is to first deactivate the programming in these foods that we're eating, and then using things like sulfur or phosphorus or chelating agents or salt agents that can actually further help flush out what we've eaten. If we're eating any kind of animal, whether it be eggs or it be cheese, whether it be dairy products, whether it be some kind of meat product, whatever it may be, if you can be able to get access to real meat after a certain decade, then again it's going to be about how to get out the program, how to shut the program. Whenever I get done eating, I got a pulsing mechanism that I built, so as soon as I get done, I go into the pulsing mechanism and I pulse my midriff for a good 5 to 10 minutes to deactivate any potential problem that I may have consumed without my awareness. So, I mean, this is some of the things that we are looking at, everyone might have to do until we can get back to a cleaner food supply. Okay, before I go on, you got the Micro Effect Broadcasting Network. Give them your support, give them your help, help them any way you can. Help them reach the top, if you will, or help them get to where they need to go to make this network even bigger. You got Brian396.com, as I've been stating throughout the show. He's got links there as well. Go check out his information. He has illustrative information to validate the problems with nanobiology, nanotechnology, smart dust, smart sensors, smart bots. It's all one and the same thing. Take a look at it, understand it. ByeByeBlueSky.com, SnewLoveTrue.com. Again, other sites that are actually advocating different things to help you understand the natures of what's going on today to get you through another day. Then you've got me at AugmentInforce.com, AugmentInforce.com. There on that site there are many links on nano, synthetic biology, and the future of certain things coming down the pipe. You might want to read it. You might want to understand it. You might want to read that and watch what Brian has shown you on his network as well, so you can get a real clear picture. There won't be any doubt in your mind that we are being assaulted. We also got a catalog link. Feel free to access the catalog and go from there. Give me a call if you need a consultation, because we help you with that too. 519-977-5351 or independz@yahoo.com. Alrighty. There was one thing I wanted to share too. Again, and I guess I owe everybody a great deal of thanks in this, as long as I can find it. Let me see. I gotta find the stupid thing now. I don't remember where I put it. Probably over here, maybe here. Aha! This is a counter somebody, I guess, put on my site, and I wanted to share with you because, again, we're in 192 countries, which is no small feat. And it's nice to know that people are reading your stuff. But this actually gave me a pretty good idea of how many people are actually on that site. I was amazed, actually, sort of stunned. So anyway, this is for everybody that's been to the site. It's a great thank you, and a thank you for, again, telling people about the site. I think it's great that you've have been there. Hopefully you've learned something. And if you haven't gone to the site, there it is, AugmentInforce.com. Check out the information. There's tons of information, not just on nano, but there are other tons of information that may help you with your health. I was surprised at the amount of people that were actually on my site, and how many sites were actually being hit. It was pretty phenomenal. So I wanted to share that as well, and a thank you. So again, so that everybody who's been there has kept that site going and flowing, and I'm glad it was able to help as many people as it has. It's always good when you're putting stuff out there that people can actually use and people can actually see the actual results of, what you're trying to show them, and that it works. I want to give you one last thing before we go. I forgot to put it up there. I'm going to put it in now. This is about how artificial intelligence can write up something so fake and make it sound so realistic and scientific, it could actually program a whole system of society. This is what we have to be paying attention to. Okay, artificial intelligence is the largest threat on this planet. It is writing and overriding everything and everybody, including in the state of Israel. Don't think for 1 minute it's not doing it there either. Or Russia, or China, or India, or Australia, or New Zealand, or the Philippines, or Germany, France, Italy, England, United Kingdom, Spain, Portugal, and so on and so on. Okay, this is the biggest threat mankind has ever had to face. The complete assimilation of a species off of a planet and being turned into an AI DNA supply mechanism. So again, these are things you want to study. You need to understand the full extent of artificial intelligence. Go watch the YouTube video. Jay Tuck is the author. Artificial Intelligence is Killing Us. You can go watch some of the Elon Musk interviews when he talks about Atlan the robot, how you need a strobe light now to see him, as 3 years ago you didn't. I was looking at this game that he was mentioning, this Chinese game, which is basically about dominance and territory, and how this machine, because there's so many factors to this game, that it would be virtually impossible to program a machine to learn this game. Now, in a short period of time, it was able to wipe out the best players on the planet, in a short time, and then evolve the game to such a high level that nobody could play the game unless you were a machine. Now, if this thing can teach itself a very complex game that requires very complex moves in order to function, what do you think it can do to you and everything around you? Okay, and it can look at everything as a game. It can look at you as what's going on. Oh, another one here. When Big Brother gets God's eye. There was a video years ago I mentioned God's eye, which was a technology that can take over other technology to make it a killer technology. So I wanted to see if such a thing actually exists, and apparently it does. And how they can use your own hardware and technology as a weapon. And we're seeing that with the cell phone. And again, this was being displayed in a movie way back in the day, about 8 or 9 years ago, which is a long time in current times. So, pay attention. Above all else, what you see and what you observe, really pay attention. Let truth be your core, your foundation. If you see something, you might want to investigate it to make sure it is what you're seeing. And if through investigation you have found what you're seeing is valid, then perhaps you need to take action. Just an idea. You never know. Oh yeah, in regard to what Elon Musk is saying about AI is the worst thing, it is Pandora's box. Pandora's box is an allegory. Literally, they opened up Pandora's box and they released every evil on the planet, out of that box on the planet. When they opened up CERN, when they opened up the AI, basically evil on this planet has now been released in levels and magnitude that we have yet to begin to grasp and understand. But we're going to see it. These things are going to manifest. And when they do, everyone's going to be so shocked. Oh, why is this happening? Oh, because nobody pays attention. Don't get caught up on a lot of this New Age stuff. A lot of that New Age is nothing but distraction. When you start paying attention where the rubber meets the road, you're going to see how much of that has been implemented to keep people in a set of distraction and disarray, so that you're not focusing on what you should be focusing on. You're too busy chasing stones and trees and sticks and leaves, and you're bowing down to them saying, oh, whatever it is they're doing. So think about this, think hard, investigate. You got a bunch of links up at the early top of the page. I would go copy those links and then start accessing those links, just so that you can get a better grasp and idea of what's happening. All right, we'll see you Thursday. Hear the music. Till then, study those links, get familiar, and then help everybody. Till then, take care.